Hey, this video is about Bill Clinton and James Patterson's sequel to a book they wrote about a couple years ago, best-selling novel they wrote together called The President is Missing. And before I start my commentary, here's a screenshot of my blog, Dysfunctional Literacy, where I first wrote about this a couple days ago. And I mentioned this because I'm a writer more than a videoer, so I get frustrated sometimes when I actually watch or I'm listening to videos and it takes forever for the video to get to the point. I'm more of a reader, so it's like, get to the point, okay, get to it in 30 seconds. So I put the transcript of my video up on the screen, so if you'd rather just read it, just mute and pause and move on when you're ready. Or if you'd rather listen and read along, or if you'd rather just listen, I mean, either way, however you do it, it's fine. And there's a strong possibility that you're going to disagree with me or have a different opinion, or maybe you have a similar but adjacent view, so please leave a comment and make it appropriate. All right. I gotta stand though, a few days ago, I saw a headline that James Patterson and Bill Clinton are teaming up again to write a sequel to their novel, The President's Missing. And I didn't read much beyond that. I didn't click the article. I just, yeah, of course. I moved on. Of course, Bill Clinton and James Patterson are writing a sequel. I mean, why wouldn't they? The President's Missing, that book made a ton of money, and it didn't require much effort. When you make a ton of money from not trying very hard, I mean, you'll do it again. I'm not talking about you in particular. I'm talking about uh, people in general. Now, I read the first few chapters of The President's Missing a few weeks after it came out. It wasn't as sloppy as most of James Patterson's books, but it was still pretty bad. I mean, that first scene, I think it was like 3 chapters long. Once you realized what really happened, it didn't make any sense. It's like, what? That guy wouldn't be thinking that if he had known that. And I understand why James Patterson and Bill Clinton would feel comfortable working together. Both of them have been rewarded for bad behavior, and at least their bad behavior has been ignored. Now let's start with James Patterson because people usually don't disagree with me about James Patterson. He's at least a competent writer, but he intentionally puts out books that aren't really publishable. I mean, if any non-famous writer tried to get a James Patterson book published, the book companies would think that writer's incompetent. You know, what are you sending me this for? So I've listed the flaws in Patterson's writing in the past. I don't need to do that right now. And nobody argues about the flaws. Everybody agrees. It's just that nobody cares. You know, he has the talent and the resources to write higher quality books and still make a ton of money. Instead, he intentionally publishes garbage to make even more money and rarely gets called on it. You know, so I think there's a chance he purposefully writes crappy books just to see how much writers will put up with. But like I said, no one's really disagreed with me about James Patterson. People just don't care. And I don't even care that much. I don't lose sleep over it. It's just something interesting about book publishing that the big book sites, the, the book websites, the book bloggers don't talk about. So somebody has to, even if I don't have any influence. Now, Bill Clinton's bad behavior is a little different, and I hesitate to talk about it because people turn really weird and demonic when it comes to politics. So I'm going to tread lightly to make my point here. Now, some policy wonks believe that Bill Clinton's been rewarded for legislation like in the 90s when he was president that's now looked on with disfavor. And that's not exclusive to Bill Clinton. I mean, this is true for a lot of politicians. A lot of politicians enact legislation that looks good short term, and then you find out 10 or 20 or 30 years later that a bunch of people got screwed over. All right, so that's the political side. Now, some people also believe that he got away with some really bad personal behavior too. And I'm not getting into the argument about whether he actually did it or not. But I understand if you believe that Bill Clinton did what he was accused of doing, then you would think he got away with some really bad behavior, or maybe was even rewarded for it. And even if you don't think he did what he was accused of doing, he's still a politician. He's been a politician for most of his adult life, so of course he's got away with something. At any rate, both James Patterson and Bill Clinton are being rewarded for this book because they wrote, if they actually wrote it, they wrote a mediocre book that sold a lot of copies. And in my mind, the publishing companies used hype and celebrity to trick readers into buying that mediocre book. And then they're going to do it again. It's nothing new. It's just that it's really bad in this case. Now, the book publishers don't think there's anything wrong with what they're doing. You know, if you're tricking people, and from a trickster's point of view, it's up to the other person not to get tricked. So I'm taking that approach. We know this trick now, so it's up to us not to fall for it. Now that I think about it, I'm not even sure where the headline about the sequel to The President is Missing came from, because I didn't read the article. I just had a reaction to it, and I didn't cross-reference the information. So I hope the article isn't from a hoax site. I really hope I didn't just write a blog post based on a headline for a hoax parody site. Because I hate I hate getting tricked. All right, that's it. That's all I have on this topic. I probably won't have much more on this until the book actually comes out, and then we'll find out what it's actually like. But I'm not expecting much. If you like this kind of video, if you like this kind of topic, and if you like actually being able to read the transcript, then check out my channel for more videos like this and subscribe for future content. And I hope you enjoy the video, and thanks for watching.